Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and I am here today to review a new A24 movie, and it is yet another one of A24's movies, which is where a movie where it feels like, okay, this is a good idea, kind of, but then the movie itself just kind of butchers that idea and doesn't really do anything interesting with it. In fact, you have to wonder, I mean, I bet some of them are made before A24 gets them, and A24 has to just come up with like a really good premise shaped around the movie, or I don't know. Because this movie, Death of a Unicorn, it seemed like it could be like a good movie. I mean, I have faith in it. I mean, you got Jenna, overrated Ortega, and you got Paul Rudd. And how could you go wrong with those two? I was kind of interested to see, like, what would those two be like on screen together. But wow, this movie is it's basically all about this dad and his daughter. And this is another thing, is that, listen, I know that this character that Jenna plays is supposed to be like 19, 20. She's supposed to be like she's going to college or something, and around that kind of age, so kind of like a young adult. But her character, she is basically like a Gen Z caricature. Like, she is a complete caricature. The hair, I mean, it almost kind of reminds me of Shrek's new daughter in the Shrek 5. You know, that promo picture with the Shrek's daughter where she's got like the nose ring and the hairstyle and everything. That's what Jenna Ortega's character looks like. She just looks like a cartoon. She looks like a stereotype. The nose ring, the hair, the multicolored hair, the wardrobe. I just hate everything about it. I despise it, and I feel like they did such a disservice to Jenna in terms of, like, you know, she's a 10 out of 10. And you know what they did to her in this movie was they made her just so unlikable from being so stereotypical. And I think that that's something that really is like a downfall of the movie, one of the big downfalls of the movie, because she's supposed to be like the main character. She's supposed to be like this fair person, like, you know, the most logical, sensical, pure of heart person in the whole movie. But she just looks like one of those annoying biatches that you see all the time on TikTok. You see them like in public, and you're just like, ew. I don't want to, like, there's nothing relatable about that character. There's nothing that makes me want to root for that character. You know, even though, you know, she's a good person underneath this terrible look, this terrible look just completely ruins the character. At one point in the movie, this isn't a spoiler, but at one point her character is vaping too. That was really weird. That felt like another thing of like they're just trying to pander and make this character like a relatable character for all these Gen Z girls who smoke and vape, and they're just ugh, ugh. I mean, you can smell Jenna overrated Ortega's character in this movie. You can smell her character, and not in a good way, in a very, very bad way. It just, and then you have Paul Rudd, and he is the dad, and this dynamic, this father-daughter dynamic, it's so awkward because honestly, like, she's not like, I don't know, like, it, maybe it's just me, but she doesn't really feel like she's his daughter. She doesn't really feel like, she feels more uh like a friend, maybe, or like a, I don't know, like, they're just a very awkward pair in this movie. Like, I was really excited to see them on screen, as I said, but like, they do not have any chemistry as like even a father or daughter. They do not really work well on screen together. And But Paul Rudd's character, this is probably the worst character I've ever seen him play. It's such a boring, bad character. He makes so many terrible decisions throughout the movie. Basically, his story is that he's kind of like an 80s dad character where he's just so focused on work and he's so focused on like anything but his family, and he's trying to mend the relationship between himself and his daughter, and so he's got to go through that arc by the end of the movie. It's very, very predictable as well. So anyways, the story is they're on a way to spend the weekend, I guess, with this billionaire family, or the billionaire people that Paul Rudd works for, and his family. And sorry guys, this has been a kind of a weird night. We got home late, and then I put the dinner in late, and so I'm pretty tired. And this movie, it really tested my patience. I mean, this movie was like torture. It was like torture. It was like punishment. It was like cruel and unusual punishment, the movie. But while they're on their way to go visit with this billionaire family, and then he's got to have these papers signed, they accidentally run over a deer. I mean, not a deer, a unicorn. God, I'm so fucked up right now that I almost fucked up the whole premise of the movie. But yeah, they run over a unicorn, and Paul Rudd actually kills it, or he thinks he killed it. And then they take it to the house. They keep it in the car, and basically it's like what happens when this rich pharmaceutical, and that's what the Paul Rudd works for. He works for like this pharmaceutical company, I guess. I can't remember. It's like this movie, it's all about, you got this group of people and you got a killer unicorn or a couple, and that's the movie. That's the plot of the movie. There's this kind of like shallow like messaging that they do for the movie. Like, it's all about the pharmaceutical industry and how they end up finding out that the unicorn cures diseases, and it can even bring you back to life sometimes. And it's just like a complete, like, it's almost like so shallow that it's like hitting you in the face with messaging, but the messaging is so weak that you can't even, like, honestly, like, I have nothing that I took away from this movie except for I want 2 hours back. I was struggling with this movie so bad. It was so boring. It was so predictable. I kept on thinking throughout the movie, hey, this would have made a really good Twilight Zone episode. That's the one thing I was thinking. I wish Rod Serling made this as a Twilight Zone episode, because I bet it would have been better than this. And another thing, too, with that is that the movie is way too long. The movie really stretches itself out to the point of where, like, it was like halfway through, I looked at the clock and I was like, oh my god, there's 50 fucking minutes left in this movie. Oh. Like, I was suffering. I was in pain watching this movie. I was just miserable because you know exactly what's going to happen with these characters. You know exactly what's going to happen with the daughter and how she's going to play into things. You know what's going to happen to the dad and how he's going to change by the end. And that's another weird thing about this movie, is that even though it's rated R and it's got some blood and violence in it, I mean, there was one kill that was pretty cool, and other than that, though, the kills were kind of lame, but they had some blood and gore, but other than that, this feels like a PG movie. Like, I feel like you could have rated this movie PG, and kids could have been fine with seeing it, because there's nothing in the movie that's really disturbing or dark or bad enough to warrant an R rating. Like, I feel like the movie itself is like a kid's movie. It's like a family movie with some blood and violence in it. It's almost like a cartoon. Like, you just can't take it seriously. Especially, the unicorn is so bad. The unicorns in this movie are computer generated, and they are complete garbage. They look terrible, and so that doesn't help. But it helps for kids. Like, if a kid saw this movie, they wouldn't care. But still, I mean, I don't know who this movie is for, too, because it's such a weird kind of like niche movie. Like, I don't know how to describe it, because I just feel like there's nothing like that I enjoyed about the movie. There's nothing that I took away from it saying like, yeah, at least there was that. Usually that happens, especially in a Jenna Ortega movie. I always take her away from the movie, and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I got to see her, or Paul Rudd. Anything that Paul Rudd is in, I'm always like, oh, I'm so glad that I watched that one Paul Rudd movie, for the most part. But there's nothing like that in this movie. And I would just say overall, this movie is not worth it. It is not funny. It's not very funny at all. There were like a couple of jokes that I kind of giggled at, if anything, but mostly this movie was just really, really boring. And again, it really tested my patience. And I know that this is going to sound funny, because when I did my Minecraft review, or I did my Hustler review, I was complaining about how every single new release movie, I say like, oh, it's terrible, it's the new worst movie of the year. Well, I can definitively say that this movie, Death of a Unicorn, is the worst movie of the year so far, because it wasted Jenna Ortega, it wasted Paul Rudd, and because it was so boring and it was so long. You know, Captain America had more things to enjoy. All these other movies that are above this one had some stuff to enjoy. There was nothing to enjoy about this movie. It was just bad. And honestly too, it feels like there's a lot of these indie movies that come out. Now that I think about it, there's a lot of these indie movies that come out where it's literally just like a group of characters that get killed off and have to fight off against one character. Because this movie reminded me a lot of Companion. And in Companion, they did the exact same thing, except I liked Companion a lot more than this, even though I hated that too. But it feels like there's a lot of indie movies where it's like, okay, let's just put these characters in a house in the middle of the forest. Riff Raff. Oh, God. Oh, Riff Raff. Ooh. Have these characters in a house. They get killed off. Boom, boom, boom. That's how you make a movie. That's how you make an indie movie. You just pick people off out of a group of people in a house in the middle of nowhere. So, in terms of food, remember how I said the messaging was so shallow and light that you couldn't even get it? You couldn't even really... I mean, I get it. I mean, they want to abuse... They want to harm the unicorn, and they want to, just use the unicorn to do what they want to do. And it's just, greed is bad and all that crap. We've seen and heard all this before. And, it's like, been there, done that. I mean, especially, too, what makes it even worse is that guy, I think his name is Will Poulter. He's the guy that kind of looks like Sid from Toy Story. He was in this TV show back in 2021 called Dope Sick. And it was a movie all about the let's see, is it fentanyl? I think it's fentanyl. It's all about the fentanyl crisis in Ohio. And it's all about like that, and all about the pharmaceutical industry. And he's in that movie, in that show. And he's like one of the main characters. And so I think that, that guy, he must have a real like interest in like pharmaceutical stuff, because this is the second thing he's in that's been all about that kind of thing. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, This movie is like an entire pack of LaCroix. Any flavor. LaCroix is like sparkle water with like a little tiny hint of a flavor. But there's really not that much of the flavor enough to where you can enjoy it. It's very irritating, because, when you have like a sugary or like a sparkly drink like that, you want it to have a lot of flavor. If you just want to drink plain old sparkle water, then just drink sparkle water. But when you have like a flavor, you want it to be really flavorful. And this movie has no flavor. It has no substance. It's just complete and utter, like, just A, B, C, D. It just fill in the blank, just paint by number scenario. And I'm so sick of that, too. I'm so sick of, like, watching these movies, these modern movies, and just feeling like I know exactly what's going to happen. And feeling like, wow, I could tell you the end of this movie right now. It would probably differ like 10% or so. Because everything has just gotten so predictable and they play it so safe nowadays. So yeah, I hated this movie. I'm really tired too because this movie, it really wore me out. I was struggling to finish this movie. I had to power through this one. This one was it was a torture experiment, and I would never watch it again. I feel bad though because I want Jenna Ortega to be in some better movies. She's in a lot of bad movies, and it also feels like when she's cast in movies, I don't know if this says, I don't think this is about her as much as it is about the people who make the movies, but it feels like whenever they cast Jenna in something, they typecast her or they put her into a box where she can't really go outside of that box very much with her acting or with anything, because this character, I think that anyone could have played this character. All you'd have to do is just dress them up and make them look like this stereotype, and any one of them could do it. Like, this character isn't unique to Jenna Ortega's acting ability. Like, if you had a lineup of actresses, and Jenna Ortega was one of them, yeah, I'd be like, whatever, just pick the one that, just pick whatever. Like, it really wouldn't matter. Like and I feel like a lot of the roles that she's been in lately, it's like it wouldn't matter if it was her or some other actress. And I wonder why that is, because she's got Wednesday. And I feel like, I don't know, like maybe she's not really as appreciated as she should be in these movies, because I thought she was like the it girl, or one of the it girls. I thought that she had like she was just in Beetlejuice too. So what's going on here? Like, why can't she get like a role where she gets to really do something? Where she gets to really like push herself and become like a different character? Paul Rudd, he's been in a ton of good movies. Role Models, I Love You, Man, Halloween 6, the producer's cut. Not the theatrical cut, the producer's cut. He's been in good movies, I'm just have to think of them off the top of my head, and it's hard. And so I have to look up on IMDb right now. I'm not going to say that the Marvel movies are good movies, because that would be a lie. Oh yeah, he was just in that bad Ghostbusters 2 as well. Oh, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, that was a good movie. Let's see. I'm trying to help him out here, because it looks like recent years. Oh, I didn't like that movie. They Came Together. I didn't like that. That was like a Hallmark movie parody. Okay, The First Anchorman, and I scrolled back up, and Dinner for Schmucks, I think, is a guilty pleasure fun movie. That would be a fun movie to review. Year One is terrible. Oh, that's okay. I only went to 2009. Okay, but you guys. Okay, he was in movies past 2009. You guys get the gist. You get the gist. Paul Rudd has room to have like a bad movie here and there. You know, like because everyone loves Paul Rudd. You know what I actually think is like one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I did not watch the Super Bowl. I do not the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl. I do not watch football or sports. I think they're really gay. But Paul Rudd was at the Super Bowl, and he was cheering on the Kansas City Chiefs, which is my Safi's favorite team. And there was this one part where they showed him, and the Chiefs missed like a whatever you call it, and a throw or a touchdown or something. They missed something, and he face palmed on screen on camera, and he just looked like completely and utterly defeated. And what's funny about Paul Rudd is that he almost looks like a giant kid. He looks like a giant kid in an adult's body or something. Like, I don't know how to describe it. But there's just something about him that's so funny and so, like, charismatic at the same time. So that's why I was making a big deal about Jenna Ortega, is that she has not really been in a lot of good movies. So far, from what I've seen, she's been in, like, one so far, and that would be two. But one of them, she was hardly even in it, so it doesn't really count. So, yeah, that's a bit of a tangent. It's a bit of a rant. But I like Jenna Overrated Ortega. I like her. And I hated this movie. And, yeah, I would highly recommend staying away from this movie unless you feel like you're really, really, really interested in it. Because, again, I have a strong patience. I am very, very patient. I don't even want to give an example of how patient I am because it'll probably make me sound really, 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 really patient to the point of where it's like, wow. And I don't want to say anything else, but I am patient, or at least I try to be. But I just could not stand this movie. I could not stand it. There was no one else to like, too. That's another thing I never brought up. There's no character to like. I'll say this about Minecraft, about a Minecraft movie, because that movie has done really well at the box office, unfortunately. Minecraft, there was no character to like in that movie. But I will say... Oh, wait, no, actually... No. But I will say, if you put these movies side by side, all the characters in Minecraft are better than the characters in this movie. The characters in this movie are insufferable, except Jenna. That's the whole purpose of the movie, is that she's like the one good-hearted character, but she's not even likable either, because she's like a stereotype, and she's so typical. I mean, it's really bad what they did to her in this movie. Like, I feel like in 10 to 20 years... You know how they do that Hot Ones show where they show you like a picture of like different looks that you did in the past, like different looks that these celebrities did in the past? Like, I feel like they're going to show Jenna a picture of herself in this movie, and she's going to be like, no, I don't want to talk about that one. I don't want to talk about that one. And then she's going to have to eat the spicy wing, because that's how bad this movie is. Anyways... Please like this video, comment, tell me what you thought about the movie, because I will admit that I struggled to pay attention. I really, really struggled. And so did I miss something that you think was worthwhile about the movie? Or do you agree that with me that yet another 2025 movie is a huge piece of shit? It's looking like so far like there's not going to be a single movie in 2025 that's any good. What's up with that? Like, can we at least have, like, one good movie? Please? And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest movie reviews. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.